Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and all of my friends who are watching this video. My name is Zulfa. Today, I will tell you a story about Snow White. So, please sit quietly and enjoy the story. Once upon a time, there lived a lovely princess with fair skin and blue eyes. Her skin was so fair that she was named Snow White. Her mother died when Snow White was still a baby. And later on, her father married to a beautiful woman. She was very pretty, but very cruel and mean. The weak stepmother wanted to be the most beautiful lady in the kingdom. She has a magic mirror, and she often asked the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest lady on the earth?" The mirror would always reply, "You are, your majesty." But one day, when the stepmother asked the mirror, it replied, "Snow White is the fairest lady on the earth." The weak stepmother was very angry and jealous of Snow White. "That annoying girl! I won't let her beat me! Hunt her down! Take her life immediately!" said the woman to the huntsman. With a heavy heart, the huntsman took Snow White to the dark forest. He slowly took out his sword, ready to attack, but he couldn't do it. I can do it! Run! Save yourself, Snow White! The queens want you to death, but I can't hurt you!" Desperately, Snow White was scared, and without looking back, she ran away into the deep and dark forest. When it was daylight, she came to a tiny cottage and went inside. There was nobody there, but she found 7 tiny beds in the bedroom. She cooked a wonderful meal and cleaned the house and got tired. Finally, she slept on one of the tiny beds. At night, the 7 dwarfs came home and found Snow White was sleeping. They were so surprised with seeing the beautiful woman. "Who is she? Do you know who is she? Why is she sleeping here?" asked one of the dwarfs. Then suddenly, Snow White woke up and told them her story. The 7 dwarfs asked her to stay with them. They took care of each other. Every morning, when they left the house, they instructed, "Never open the door to strangers, okay?" Meanwhile, in the downtown, the weak stepmother asked the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest lady on the earth?" The mirror replied, "Snow White is the fairest lady and the most beautiful lady of all. She lived with 7 dwarfs in the wood." The weak stepmother was furious. Actually, she was a witch who knew how to make magic potions. Then she disguised herself as an old peasant woman and went to the wood with the apple. She knocked on the cottage door and said, "Pretty little child, let me in. Look what I have for you." Snow White said, "I'm so sorry, old lady. I cannot let you in. The 7 dwarfs have told me not to talk to strangers." But then Snow White saw the shiny red apple and opened the door. When she took a bite, poor Snow White fell into a deep sleep. The weak stepmother went back to her house and asked the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest lady on the universe?" The mirror replied, "You are, your majesty." And she was very happy. When the 7 dwarfs came home, they found Snow White was lying on the floor. They were very upset. They cried all night and then built a glass coffin for Snow White. They cooked coffin in front of the cottage. One day, Prince Charming was going past the cottage, and he said to the dwarf, My, she is so beautiful! What happened to her? The prince touched Snow White's hands and kissed her. Immediately, Snow White opened her eyes, and she was alive again. The prince and the seven dwarfs were very happy. The prince took her to his place and married her. They lived happily ever after. While the evil stepmother, in her anger, she was destroyed by her dark own magic, and she was never seen again. The end. Well, from the story we know that envy can be very dangerous. It does not only hurt other people, but also yourself. And also we have to be careful with who we trust, because not everyone has good intentions. That's all I can say. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.